Hello, my name is Omar Ambasad. It's Tuesday, March 26, 2019. And I'm going to give you today's sample of my being illegally tracked and tortured inside my home. So, as usual, I'm going to start with the cell phone. Well, actually, I'm going to forego the cell phone today because I'm having technical difficulties with it right now. I'm trying to get it clarified with my provider. So let's take a look at my tagging today. Again, it's not continuous, it's pulsed. Underneath my arm. And as you can tell, the power is turned down, and the frequency of the pulses has gone down, all but disappeared right now. That's not to say that it's not going to come back there. Here. So the pressure should not be high because, as you can tell, it's the frequency has decreased, but I'm still being tracked and I'm still being hit. I heard a comment outside the window that there are two flags and there are two new envelopes. The name Stip is constantly being called because he's flagged it. And there are two new envelopes, as I said, which means that for those two flags, for whatever it is that I was flagged for, keep in mind that the flagging is intended to end up in a charge or a warrant for mental health evaluation. So I can be pulled out. So the envelope means that the people who are taking part in the targeting program against me is going to go about generating, creating the evidence, quote unquote, needed to fill those envelopes in order to submit to a judge or a magistrate to get the tickets, warrants, writs, whatever it is they're seeking. It's a conspiracy. The flag is the start of a conspiracy. If the flagging system is meant as some sort of a control mechanism to to monitor somebody who's at risk or somebody who's seen as criminal, then it's being abused in my case. I am not questioning that there should be flags in the system. I mean, if it's an internal system and just the cops are the one who's accessing it, then that's an internal process. However, once those flags get into the public arena, it makes you a target. How did it get into the public arena in my case? Well, I hear outside the window, or else I wouldn't know anything about this. If I wasn't being harassed, excuse me, if I wasn't being harassed outside the window and in the public when I go out, I wouldn't know any of this. So I'm being harassed with the contents of the reports that's generated in this envelope, or the contents of the envelope based on generated, created misinformation is used to report on me, make reports on me. And this is what's in the public arena because the public is generating the reports. So it is in the public arena. So the flag is in the public arena as well, obviously, or else there wouldn't be envelopes. So it's all public. So as I tweeted today, and those tweets are mine, I'm going to be asking the police about this flag that I'm harassed about in the workplaces for the last number of years, that's effectively driving me out of the workplace. The criminals who are taking advantage of this process, this flagging process, are adding another dimension, and well, I should say more than one dimension, and that is to use the flagging process to traffic. and to illegally surveil inside of my home, as these signals indicate. The signals are not around my body, but if I point the detector towards my body, it's emitting signals, meaning that just like the cell phone, um, signals are being downloaded into the cell phone. Signals are being downloaded into my body in order to track me and to torture me. And the frequency of the pulses varies, the power of the pulses varies, and so the pain, the level of pain varies, as I've indicated in the blood pressure readings that I've shown before. And sometimes it could be excruciating. The pain could be excruciating. So depending on who's on the other side doing this. So this comes to the point of everybody gets a turn. You have to make, you being the perpetrators, or I should say they, have to make the target common. And this is another dimension, yet another dimension of the targeting program that the criminals are taking advantage of. This is another dimension and how they're taking advantage of the flagging system. You have to be made common, and that's making a woman common and publicly harassing her about her sexual activities, like masturbation in my case, her dating, what you do while you're dating, having dated a lot. So the comment is you had a lot of men, when obviously it's just dating, not nothing else, nothing physical. These things are in the public arena, and when you go out, you get harassed with it. This is in line with public stoning, verbal public stoning, in line, what I should say, in line with Sharia law that preaches public stoning. So instead of using a stone, they'd use verbal harassment, because of course in Canada you can't use stones as you can in the Muslim world. And my knee is being pulsed right now, and you can hear that. You could hear that the alarm. My knee is being pulsed painfully right now, and there you go. The power is just turned up. The power is turned up when you're engaging in activities that the perpetrators who are looking at you real time, and this is an extension of being flagged, an extension of the targeting program as a result of being flagged. They're using microwave technology to look into your home and to pulse signals into your body to cause pain, increase the power according to what they hear and what they like and what they don't like when they listen to you, when they see you do something that they like or don't like. If the person on the other side is Muslim, then the pulses of pain and the degree of pain is dependent on that on that Muslim person's perspective on life, his belief system. So obviously, Muslims, I should say Sharia Muslims, don't like women very much. They're not considered fully human. They're considered animals in a lot of respects, things to be owned, controlled. They're going to be extremely, extremely cruel. Extremely cruel. This is a system that should not exist, not only in Canada, anywhere in the world. Why should there be a system that everybody knows about, that in which everyone gets a turn to publicly humiliate, verbally stone somebody, and to use remote technology to torture the person according to their own belief system? This is Auschwitz. And this includes rape, remote rape. For instance, this morning, I got up and early, and sometimes I take a shower before I sit down to pray or meditate, or try to, because when I do that, I immediately start getting pulses of pain, and my microwave detector goes crazy around when I point it to my body, anywhere in my body. So I get full body scans to cause maximum pain to prevent me from doing my meditation as I try to do it every morning. I also get these vibrations between my legs. So there's all kinds of variations in the use of the technologies that's being used, that are tools for this kind of torture. There's a sonic technology, there is a microwave technology, there is tasers, there's lasers. And we know that tasers are in the hands of the criminals because there is right now actually a news item on the news site and on the TV that about a Chinese, a very very rich Chinese boy man being abducted in his condominium underground parking by a gang of black people using tasers. So the tasers are in criminal hands. So if tasers are in their hands, then so are microwave pulsed technology. So are lasers, obviously, because these things can be bought sometimes on the net. So remote technology, remote weapons using directed energy are in the hands of gangs. Now, I talk about black gangs. Obviously, they're in the hands of all the gangs because at some level, these gangs work together. They talk to each other. They sell weapons between each other. So this is no paranoia. A flag against my name and getting that putting that flag, the information of my being flagged and the reason in the public arena makes me a target, a huge target for all kinds of criminals as I'm seeing around me and tweeting about because when I tell the police about this, they tell me I'm mentally ill because it's a cover up to cover up the trafficking that's taken place. Because some very, 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 very rich and powerful people are taking part in this remote trafficking, using remote technology to rape, for voyeurism. There are a lot of pedophiles that are engaging in this behavior, taking advantage of children who doesn't want this exposed. And I mean very, very young kids, babies in some instance. I mean, if you hit a baby, a 6-month-old baby, between the baby's legs, all the baby is going to do is cry. Nobody would ever know unless you put a microwave detector between the baby's legs. And if you were to tell, I mean, if I when I tell the cops that this is happening, the cops are telling me I'm delusional. Could you imagine a parent going to the cops saying, "Gee, I think somebody's hitting my baby between her legs or in his anus with a microwave technology." What the cop is going to do? Most likely, he's going to take the child away from the parent. They're not going to do anything about it because the cops are told to stand down on this issue because the police force is infiltrated with a lot of pedophiles, and there is a lot of infiltration in the Toronto police force and every other police force, where the criminals are at the top telling the ones underneath what to do or what not to do. And if they dare open their mouth, they will be killed. Code blue. I will not shut up because it's pretty obvious that I'm being illegally surveilled, I'm being tracked, and I'm being tortured, and I'm being remotely raped. And it's been happening for years. And I'm being told that I'm mentally ill when I'm not. I'm seeing a therapist. I'm talking about being profiled and being targeted by the police. Why the police is not believing me? Why the police is covering up the trafficking by telling me I'm mentally ill? All these things are being talked about by the therapist, to the therapist, with the therapist, I should say. So the police owe me some information. Why am I flagged? Why is the flagging in my workplace? Because it's preventing me from finding work. And when I do find work, I'm getting harassed out of the workplace, and this technology is in the workplace. It doesn't have to be used by somebody in the workplace. It could be outside the building, somebody sitting in a van, in a car, aiming these technologies through the wall, because obviously microwaves go through the wall. The co-workers can be infiltrated by the gangs like Rick and Ranty. They are working with people with this technology if they don't have it themselves. So it's been 15 minutes and I think I'll stop there. So talk to you another time. I just wanted to, again, because this is ongoing, my targeting is ongoing, and I have a case going on in the building. I'm being heavily targeted. There's retaliation because I filed a complaint. There is, I mean, there are nights, last night there was no sleep. My detector kept on going on all night. I was in pain all night last night. This is retaliation. The residents are being recruited to retaliate, to tell lies, to call the cops. When I verbalize about what's going on, not only does it help with the emotion that is part of the reaction of being targeted, it also, uh, in a lot of cases, it stops the targeting. Because when I verbalize, um, it's being heard. So when I say something like "stop hitting my toes" with the microwaves, and I point the detector to my toes and it goes off bright red, the alarm could be heard, hopefully, because I heard that my home is being broadcasted, that I'm being monitored live as a prostitute, which of course I'm not, never have been. My home is being, I heard the comment outside the window. My home is being broadcasted live. I'm being monitored live, and it's global. So if I were to say that my eyes are being hit right now with a microwave detect with high power microwave beam, I don't have to say it loudly because my home is broadcasted. I'll be just verbalizing as I'm doing right now. It's being broadcasted. It stops the attack. So verbalizing is a good thing in more ways than one. Talk to you another time.